Hi, I'm back. I'm live again. Um, I'm sorry my last video turned out all sideways. I don't know how to fix it. I have tried and tried and tried to figure out how to get to the video editor within the app, and it just seems to not exist anymore. I don't know. I'm ready to blow my top. I'm very frustrated. Let's enjoy a little bit of marijuana. It may make me cough really hard. Let's give it a try. My name is TushyGalore. For those of you that don't know me, I am, you know, I was going to say vintage. I'm a vintage YouTuber. I've been with it since 2006. And I'm just getting a little of this beautiful green out in my hand. I'm a medical marijuana patient in the state of Arkansas. I have my card and everything. That's Mr. Stanley Littles behind me. I may pull him over here so you can see him. I'm sure he will protest and try to get away. He is very sweet. He is a year old. Some of you who've been with me for a while know how much I love this black cat that I used to have named Mambo, and even named a lot of my videos after him. It would say at the beginning of them, Black Cat Mambo Production, or Black Cat Mambo Presents TushyGalore, blah, blah, blah. And I would have a picture of him. He was extremely, extremely special to me. And I'll introduce you to him someday. He died a couple years ago. I'm looking for a lighter. I guess I'm going to have to use the lighter on the leash. Nice little silicone bowl. Can't break it. Um, well, the bowl is made out of something else, but the pipe is silicone. It's not the most glamorous. I love the look of beautiful glass, but cats can't break it, and neither can I. Okay, so that's yummy. Why don't you smoke with me if you have it? Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my car. I don't want this to be a super long video. I'm very, once I get going, it's hard for me to just get to the point. So I have this little Honda Accord. Yes, it is a 94. She's got some years on her, but when I got her, she was very low mileage. I got her, gosh, how long has it been? Maybe 7, 8 years ago. It's been a while. I've had her for a bit. But she came to me through magic. I did a magic spell. Pardon me. I am a little sick. Don't mean to gross you out. I did a little working. I was very new to hoodoo. I'd always done little kind of spell things throughout my life since I was a little child. But I didn't quite really know what I was doing. The instinct was there. But then I gained some knowledge. I realized a lot of what I had been doing my whole life was hoodoo, basically. So, um, I decided to do a hoodoo spell for my birthday. I was turning 44, I do believe, and no one, my mother had asked me if I wanted to get together. So I need to mention that because I say no one, and that hurts her feelings. But we had already gotten together and done our dual birthday thing because I'm October 8th, she's October 10th, Dad is October 12th. My sister is March the 3rd. She always felt a little left out. So we kind of have a week-long birthday thing. I thought it would have been really nice if like a friend had asked me out. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. So I said, well, does she? Your sister lives in Los Angeles. When she's having a birthday, she's single and none of her friends have been thoughtful enough to ask her out or plan something. She just picks someplace she wants to go, and she lets people know I'm going to be here. If you want to join me for a drink or dinner or whatever, you know. And usually people show up, and she has a nice little celebration. I don't know much of anybody, so I just said, fuck it. Oh, pardon my language. I said, fuck it. I'm going to take myself out, show myself a good time. And I'll probably get lucky at the end of the night. It's an ideal date. So I dressed up, and I had a car that I hated. Person I was living with at the time had decided to split because he had found somebody younger and blonder and better and whatever. Better, I don't know about that, but someone more suited to him. Let's just say it that way and be nice. And he split, and he got a car for himself. It wasn't brand new, but it was a lot nicer, ran better. He had just like run my car into the dirt. By the time he left, it was in really bad shape. So I was angry about that. It's like, who's that turd to get a new car? New to him. Leaving me with this piece of crap. And I was unhappy about it. So I had not learned yet to be really specific about what I wanted in my petitions and in my what I asked for in the work, right? And so I had not yet completely learned the lesson about wording things very, very carefully, because it seems that the universe or the spirits or God or whoever's doing it, they will find the shortest, easiest route. It's like water. Water's going to probably flow downstream, find a low place, and flow downstream. That's generally the way it works. So this is the same way. And so I was not real sure what I wanted. I was going to go to a casino. Was going to listen to some music, buy myself some buffet, and play some machines, and not let my birthday night just be a big suck. So I said this spell, and at the very end of it, it was for gambling. Like, I wanted to go and gamble and have a good time, maybe meet some people, and it was just for a successful evening. And at the very end, during this whole thing, I was thinking of a friend who had had a very similar breakup happen to her in the past, and thinking about how she had tried to comfort me by telling me about how things got so much better for her, and how she had met a man that was just wild about her. She didn't really fall for him hard, but during this run of bad luck, her car got wrecked, I believe. She lost her car, whatever the case. And this man came into her life and bought her a brand new, off the lot, brand new car. I was just like, here, honey. She didn't stay with him, but she kept the car. And I wouldn't want to take advantage of anybody. So I was like, at the very end, I added, and maybe a nice young man will give me a new car. And an hour later, I was sitting at an intersection with my car totaled by a young man who was very nice. He just made a really dumb choice and turned right in front of me. So that ugly old gallant got taken off with me crying and telling him, that is my only car, and I have no money and no way to get another car. And then I felt like shit about it, and I went back and apologized and hugged him, and we stood around together for a little bit. But he was pretty upset. I was pretty upset. I ended up spending several hours in the emergency room, and finally ended up at my mother's house. I called her because I didn't really know anybody, and asked her to come and get me. And she and her boyfriend got out of bed and drove quite a long distance to retrieve me from the emergency room. So the magic had done its work, and it had worked almost immediately, but I didn't quite know it yet. Exactly a month to the day from the accident, it was the 8th of October when it happened, and then the 8th of November, my mother called me and said that on a whim, she had called a place here in town called Honda Pro. And they had been really good to her in the past. She had bought some used cars from them that they had, fixed all up, used Hondas. And so she called, and she knew that they had stopped doing that, but she thought maybe they'd know somebody who knew somebody who had a car. So she called, and he's like, well, as a matter of fact, I have two cars here. I know I said I'd stop doing this, but I got these cheap, and I, whatever, fixed them up and put stuff on them, and blah, blah, blah. So we went down there, and like, just immediately we got one of them. I don't remember if I had my refund check by them. I think I did, because I did a spell after that, after the initial wreck, that I would find another car that would meet all these different criteria. I knew it probably wouldn't be a new car, so I said like new, or very, very, very good condition, wouldn't give me trouble for years. It would be the luxury model that they made that year, whatever kind of car it was, and all these things I wanted, right? 1 month to the day, she calls me, and there's this car, and it is exactly what I asked for in every possible way. It was perfect. It was so nice. One of the things I asked for is that it would cost almost the exact amount of money that I would get in my refund check. Refund? No, not refund. My insurance, whatever. Uh, Weed. Let's have some more. With, I added a little caveat, with just a little bit left over, because that's success, right? Just a little bit left over. And by the time it's all said and done, it cost exactly what I got from the insurance company, plus a little left over. I don't remember the exact amount. It wasn't very much. There was a little left over. And it was like, I felt so magical. I felt so blessed. The whole thing was crazy. It was just like, did this really just happen to me? Like, all of this, from the mojo bag I made to go gambling with, and screwed it up by adding the thing about the nice young man getting me a new car. I think I'd even said a new to me car, because I felt like it was outrageous to ask for a brand new one. So a new to me car. So fast forward many years, and this happened a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. John was with me by then, and the kids were here. It was summertime, and already kind of stressful, and it was not being a very good summer, and I don't know exactly who did it or how it happened. I'm a stickler for lock the doors. Lock the doors, lock the doors, lock the doors. You get out of the car, you lock your door, and you close the door. Don't leave the doors unlocked. Everybody's terrible about it. Terrible. So a door was left unlocked. About 3 in the morning, John woke up to go outside. Pardon me, I feel like I have cat hairs in my nose. That's not troubling, is it? John went out on the porch. I would edit that out, but I'm too lazy to smoke. And came in extremely upset and said, the car's gone. The car's gone. He woke me up. So what do you mean the car's gone? It's gone. It was right outside our front door. You see the front door right there? It's like you go down 2 steps and there's the car. Gone. It was very upsetting. It was the only car we had. He couldn't get to work the next day. We couldn't get the kids to their things. It, it was quite shocking. And it had been a horrible summer with a lot of very upsetting things already. So it was horrible. And I don't remember how much time passed between when the car went missing and when we did this. But I got fed up. I hate being a victim. I don't cotton to it one little bit. So, weed. after a few weeks, a month maybe, being really tired of being victimized by whoever it was that ran off with my car, I said, come on, John, we're going to do something about this. I got some sidewalk chalk that I had. I got some candles. I got some herbs. I got some water, some special water. I got a lot of stuff. And we went out right in front of our house, right in front of our duplex. And I proceeded to draw Santa Marta's sigil, her veve. Don't judge me, please, because you're probably ignorant about Santa Marta. You probably don't know anything more than the little salacious things you've seen on the news. Um, I have had her help me in my life many times. And when I met John and told him about her, he says, oh, yes, I know her very well. I don't know her by that name, but I know her very well. He worked for hospice care for some time. And I won't go into it more than that. But drew her sigil and put candles out and sincerely asked her to come to that space and to assist us, and that Hoodoo had brought me that car, and Hoodoo was going to bring that car back to me, right to the space where it left from. And I prayed, and I demanded, because sometimes you got to demand. I don't demand that God do anything for me. Sometimes you got to demand that a situation become what you want it to become. I have done this many, many times, including the color of my eyes. See how green they are? They used to be brown, until I decided I wanted green eyes. I'm just saying. So we sat there and watched the candles burn and concentrated and looked into the candles. And our conservative Christian neighbors that lived in the apartment right next to us came home, pulled up into their space, illuminated our little makeshift altar, and they never spoke to us again. Which is sad because they were neat people. I'm sure they don't understand what they were seeing. And they said something to us, and I just said, I'm getting my car back. And 9 days later, and for any of you that are familiar with magic at all, when you do the work, complete the work, because some work takes quite a long time to complete, days, weeks, whatever. When you complete it, usually if it's going to happen, if it's God's will and it's going to happen, it will be either hours, days, weeks, usually not more than weeks. It will be in a number of 3 or 5 or 9, I believe. Little shaky on the 5, but for sure the 3 and the 9. 9 tends to be the number that works well for me. And 9 days later, we got a knock on the door. 2 police officers. Found your car, ma'am. Somebody had taken it, used one of my own screwdrivers to bust it all up and start it, then drove it off into this really heavily wooded area beyond across the creek, back in that area. It used to be a mobile home park. It is just abandoned when I moved in here, and it's gotten denser and denser and denser, and they did quite a bit of damage to the car just driving it back there because it was very thick and brushy, and yeah, it's not something you could even ride a bike into. They had emptied out most anything in the car and thrown it out in the woods, because I guess they got mad that it wasn't worth anything. They did strange stuff like pulled some small buttons off of things and pried off the H on the hood of my Honda, and they took my cane and beat my windshield in and then stole my cane. it was traumatic, but I felt triumphant at the same time because I got my car back. The guy that found it was totally tweakery. But bless his heart, he said he found his motorcycle and my car sitting back there. I don't know what made him go back in there to find them. I kind of halfway wonder if he wasn't the one that took it to begin with, but I guess I'll never know. And he helped us get it out of there. He helped us pull it out with his pickup truck. God bless him. So 9 days later, my car returned to me. She never has been quite the same since. She still has some work that needs to be done on her. She's got a lot of dents and scratches on the outside now from her being driven in and pulled out. But that is my magical little Hoodoo Honda, and I love her so much. And John loves her too. She's just an awesome little car. She's got this big booming stereo. It's cassette deck and a radio, but we manage. And before she got stolen and raped out in the woods, which is what I felt like. I felt like she'd been so violated. She ran like a freaking top. And John is determined he's going to get her back to running like a top. And I'm ready for it. And I think she needs her leopard print seat covers back as well. I hope this video stays in portrait and doesn't end up all twisted around again. I'm trying to figure out how to fix these videos that post in the wrong direction. It's probably just user error on my part when I start the feed. But there you have it. The energy in this place, and I don't mean just my physical apartment, but outside of my apartment and for a few blocks in any given direction, the energy is gross. I can feel it when I hit a certain point on the road headed this direction to this area. It hits me like, ugh, it's just, ugh. And John says we're probably on some kind of ley line. The energy's fucked up. People die out here constantly, and it's usually very troubled people, and I think their spirits roam. I had one of them come in and kind of hop on me one night and wasn't physically shaking me, but that's what it felt like like that. It freaked me out. I called my boyfriend at the time, who was a complete nut, but he was also pretty psychic, and he helped kind of walk me through getting it out of here. And I did, but man, that made me feel so vulnerable. There's weird shit in this neighborhood. It is bad, bad, bad. And so I haven't really done a whole lot of magic here. The place I had previous to this, I had a whole room dedicated to it. And I did so much in there, and I got the energy so built up and so powerful and so lovely. And I had a couch in there, and everyone wanted to come into that room to sit and talk and hang out because the energy was so wonderful. And people would come in and go, oh, I'm so stressed out, but I feel so good in here. And I had this energy built up. I have to tell you again about the stuff that would happen in that little tiny duplex once I got this magical energy flowing. But I have felt very hesitant to open any doors in this home. Once in a while, I'll start up one of my ghost hunting apps or go, I'm going to do EVP work, and I turn on a recorder. And then I think better of it. I think my protective spirits are saying to me, maybe not. And I try to listen to them because I've got several here trying to protect my dumb ass and keep what's outside outside. That's one reason I really want to move, because I can do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram in here as much as I want, but if you open a door, you better be in a good, healthy space here and, so, yeah. I just ask my personal spirits to be with me and help me out sometimes with certain things, and they usually oblige because they love me. They is my people. Um, Next time, by the way, next time a Christian or a right winger, which are usually Christians, and I apologize to any sincere and legitimate Christians out there whose God is love. Okay, I apologize. But you know the ones, and they say something about sheeple, accuse someone, or being sheeple. Makes me think, because my father said that in an email to me. Um, Tell them that uh, uh, they they are his people and the sheep of his pasture. That is sheeple, pure and simple. And yes, that is, they are the people and the sheep of his pasture. That was something we used to sing in church. I don't remember the rest of it. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture, coming to his presence with singing. Boom. We sang some silly stuff back in the days at Lakewood. Yes, Osteen. His father was our minister for many a year, and Joel Osteen was kind of a little shit. Well, he seemed stuck up, but he may have just been shy. And he was a little PK, and it seems like he used to play the drums at church. I don't know. Anyway, his father baptized me, and there was some legitimate love going on there and some correct thinking. They got a little too much into demons and the devil until it got to where that was all they talked about. And there was very little talk of love and how to be a better person and kinder to yourself and others. So, whatever. Anyhow, I think this has gone on long enough. I can't tell if anybody's watching me. I think there's one person. Hi. Hi, one person. Let's take one more big drag and then I'm gonna feck off. Anybody else ever watch Father Ted? Father Ted is whew, it's an Irish sitcom from I think the 90s. Dude that played Father Ted. Last episode of the second season, they wrapped it all up. Woohoo! Second season in the can. And he went to walk off the set and went and just croaked. He just died. That's very unkind of me to say that. I apologize to anyone that may have known him and loved him. But he just dropped, from what I understand. Kind of like John Ritter. I don't remember that happened to John Ritter. Didn't he just kind of walk off the set after filming and just dropped? Better than dying in a car wreck, I guess. Anyway, bye.